very vast country. And the government recognizes that you cannot physically man these borders easily without the aid of technology. And government is already investing heavily in that direction so that Nigeria can be better secure. So I would say that yes, that is also true, but great work is being done to enhance the security of our borders. The issue that we have at hand, and even the issue generally about insecurity, is not one that has to do with any politics or region or ethnicity or tribe. Insecurity, terrorism is something that affects everyone. And like we always say, it is the duty of all of us, especially members of the media, to deny these terrorists the kind of undue publicity that they always require for them to continue to perpetrate this criminal act. You cannot celebrate a criminal because he has gone to kill a member of the armed forces. Mind you, these men and women in uniform and those who are in plain clothes are working day and night and sometimes paying the supreme price so that you and I can continue to live in peace without any fear. So, like other countries do, we have a responsibility to recognize the work that the armed forces do. Of course, we need to charge them to do more, but we must recognize them to do more. We should not discourage them by portraying them as being inferior to these criminal elements that are not patriotic, that are doing this so that they can create division and they can also create violence so that all of us will not live in peace. I want to assure you of the commitment of President Tinubu administration to restore these remaining remnants of these criminal elements to the ground. The President has zero tolerance for them. The President has also charged the security agencies. Recall his direct words when he was swearing in the service chiefs about 2 weeks ago. He has charged them with responsibility of flushing out, of taking out all these people perpetrating this crime wherever they may be in any part of this country. And this is exactly what they have sworn to. And we believe that going forward, we are going to see significant changes, significant improvement, leading to the complete elimination of these criminal elements from wherever they are. But we have to be careful and think as Nigerians at this time, to act as Nigerians. This is the only country that we have. We have to fight collectively to keep it together in peace and prosperity and along the vision of President Tinubu, so that all of us will have a prosperous Nigeria to live in.
And only, just as the minister said, a global organization recently published the fact that globally, in the last decade in Nigeria, the last 2 years had recorded the lowest incidences of insecurity. Locally, to us, even one incident is an anathema, is abhorrent. But when you look at the various figures in the last 10 or more years, and you do a comparative analysis with the last 2 years, you will see the tremendous efforts that this government has put in place and the actions so far taken to stem the tide of this insecurity. Insecurity which we know, except one is deceiving himself, nearly everybody in this country knows that there is no deliberate targeting of any religion for persecution. There are factors. Sometimes when these terrorists go to attack, they don't go to attack because of the religion of those inhabitants of those communities. They go to attack for different reasons, largely economic. Some may be political, but it's largely economic. But then, Ironically, some of those communities are inhabited by a particular religion. So now to use the faith of the inhabitants as the motive for the attack is totally off the mark. It does not reflect the reality on ground, and we all know it. So, my plea to you as media men, gatekeepers, is to note the criticality of the various action steps and statistics reflecting the results of actions. For instance, how many people know or is aware that the terrible attack on the church in Owo some years back, before this administration, if you recall, where worshippers were killed right inside the church, those marauders have been apprehended and are facing prosecution. Whereas some people still bandy that as, oh, where are those people who did this? Where are the perpetrators? They are not brought to book, they are not this, they are not that. Even the Yewada that happened in Plateau, in Benue, they have been apprehended, arrested, and are facing prosecution. And that's an eloquent testimony to the fact that government is alive to its responsibilities and is not shirking any, duties of protecting lives and properties. So it's important for us as purveyors of information, as I said, to be circumspect when it comes to reporting of sensitive issues. Because you need a peaceful, stable country to be able to practice whichever profession, especially journalism. In the middle of conflagration, you may not even have an office to go to. So it is in our own individual interest to ensure that we invoke that subject of mass communication in graduate school, which is called responsibility theory of the press, which means the press has a responsibility to the society in which it is operating. Because if there's no society, there's no press, there's nothing, there's no institution. So, even on a selfish note, we have a duty to protect the sanctity of our nation and of our society so that we can practice our profession in an unfettered environment.